I saw Nick Shirley posted this video where he basically is upset with Andrew Callaghan for significantly cutting down the amount of time on the interview. They apparently did a 3.5 hour long interview, and I'm going to watch the plug that he made for it. Here's the interview. It's only an hour and 5 minutes, about an hour and 6 minutes. This is the interview. This is Nick Shirley's full interview. He releases the entire thing. It's 2.5 hours. They cut an hour and a half out, and then there's my reaction to the first interview if you want to take a look. So I decided to take a look a little bit at the video because I was like, why would Andrew do this? I like Andrew. He's very credible, but why would he do this to Nick Shirley? So I watched through like the intro. He does like an intro, and then I'm going to start with the interview. I'm going to show you why, or maybe why Andrew cut out a significant amount. So here's the start of the interview. Watch for about, well, here we go.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Are we rolling?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
My guy, thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it. So how does it feel?
It's been an interesting few days. Past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Wow.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? Because you kind of stuttered.
Yeah. So I played you about 30 seconds of the actual interview outside of the intro he did. And this is pretty much the whole interview. He stutters so bad through the whole interview that they have to constantly ask him to re-say things. So I'm not trying to be rude, but that's probably that's why they cut down so much, because he stutters a lot. A lot. And by the way, I love people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I think they're beautiful. But that's why he cuts it down so significantly. I just wanted to show you that before we watched this video from Nick Shirley, because I'm not watching 2.5 hours of somebody stuttering, you know. Sorry. So here we go. Let's watch this little plug that he gives for it and go through the stuff.
All right, this is.
By the way, that was the first sentence that he said they had to ask him to re-say. I'm just trying to be honest with you. So there you go.
All right, this is super important, and
Yes.
I also learned a great lesson here. So the other week, I sat down with Andrew Callaghan in Channel 5 to do a sit-down podcast-style interview.
That's beautiful.
For his channel.
Yeah.
And when he goes and posts
So beautiful.
the video, I see he just posted an hour-long interview.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's weird.
Well, we saw why.
Because we actually spoke for around 2.5 hours. And then I go and watch the interview. I'm saying, well, what is this? This is not what happened. For instance, this clip right here.
What American city is prospering right now?
Okay.
Austin.
Just for context, it's a Democrat city, but okay.
Austin. Name another one.
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, Texas. Another strong Democratic city. A blue dot. Okay. Incredible.
El Paso, Texas is prospering.
Yeah.
Nashville.
Nashville's doing good.
Nashville, Tennessee. It's a solid Democrat city. Okay. Let's continue.
Phoenix is doing good.
Phoenix, Arizona. It's gone from a Republican area to more of a swing area. Okay. Fair enough.
Basically, any place with low state tax is getting a lot of.
In any place that's not Democrat.
Right. So basically all those places except for Phoenix, Arizona is Democrat. But okay.
I don't know.
And the Phoenix is a swing state.
Name a Democrat city that's prospering right now.
Okay.
Well, it would have to be one that's affordable.
Name one.
Denver.
Okay, Denver. Let's look it up. Is Denver affordable? I meant to say prospering, but yeah, Denver is generally prospering with strong economic growth, which is great, considering how rough these tariffs have been on us. But okay. All right.
Why are you smirking? It's not prospering.
All right, so that's a clip.
But it is. So I just use Google. Some people say loudly, yelling to Google stuff. Me personally, I would never do that. I like to say it softly and intelligently. Just gotta Google these things, guys.
Clip Andrew posted, but this is the actual interaction of how it went.
Let's see it.
Denver.
Why are you smirking?
Because I don't know if it's prospering.
It's not.
Right, but it is, though, right? So you're wrong. He said it. He thinks it might be prospering, but he's not 100% sure. But he was right. So he left it in. Okay. And he's like, yeah, it's prospering. It is.
You can't even answer the question. It's not prospering. Denver's not prospering either.
But it is, right? We just did like a Google search. We looked it up. It apparently is doing pretty well, especially considering how terrible Trump's economy is.
I agree that Democrat-run states are doing badly.
I think that everybody's kind of doing a little rough. But okay.
Kind of weird that Andrew didn't put that in, right? Maybe.
Well, why would he put that in if he's right? Well, he got it right.
Maybe his like base or something would not be happy with that response because he obviously got caught lying.
But he didn't, right? Because Denver is a generally prosperous city. So I don't know what you're talking about.
And anyways, let's move over to the next topic when we're talking about Somalians being known for pirating, as 89% of the fraud that has been charged inside of Minnesota is by Somalians.
That's not true. So just to be absolutely clear, I will show you what the statistic actually is. Actually, Andrew puts it on the screen. But basically, 89% of the people arrested for one particular scam, which was big, were Somalian. That's different than saying 89% of all the fraud in Denver is from Somalians. Those are two different statistics. One is a idiot lie, and one of them is more contextually accurate. And just to be clear, there is fraud there. There is fraud in Minnesota, and a lot of it is Somalian fraud, and I will elaborate on that in a little bit in a way that Nick never has or could.
This is the interaction that Andrew posted.
Somali community, or do you see it as both?
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, so it says the statement 89% of fraud in Minnesota is a claim that originated from, it literally says, Nick Shirley, social media video not from an official source. The claim has been widely circulated, but the official information from the U.S. authorities specifies demographics, those charged specific large-scale fraud cases. In specific cases, they're specifically talking about feeding our future. In the feeding our future case, 89% of the people arrested were Somali. Absolutely. So it was 89% of 78 people. And by the way, it was led by a white woman. Typical, right, guys? Typical white woman. So that's not the same thing. And if you need to lie, either you're dumb or dishonest, right? And sometimes you're dumb. I've been there. And sometimes you're dishonest. And that's Nick. And I will show you that in a little bit. Don't worry.
Find it.
I just want to know where it's from.
You want me to find it right now?
For sure, just so I can, I don't know, I believe you. I just want to make sure we have the exact.
Here, right here. Yeah, and it's not racist to say it. Probably.
Right, but they're showing on the screen that you're wrong. They're on the screen. They're showing that you're incorrect, right? Like you don't know if you realize that you're posting your own L, right?
And when I go,
This is what happens when I show him the fact that 89% of the people who have been charged for fraud in Minnesota are Somalians. This is what Andrew had to say. But remember, he conveniently left this out of the interview.
Because you're wrong. So whatever you show him is wrong. He looks into it afterwards.
89%.
I misconstrued it. How did I misconstrue? How did I misconstrue what he said? What are you talking about?
Of those charged in connection with major.
Wow. Identified as Somali Americans. Well,
Yeah, those are two different things. One of those things is 89% of the people, 89% of 78 people charged with the feeding our future fraud were Somalian. That's not the same thing as 89% of the fraud in Minnesota is from Somalians. He keeps making this claim over and over again. Here's what he exactly says.
Both.
89% of the fraud is being committed by Somalians.
Where exactly is that
The fraud. That's not specific enough. He's being intentionally vague.
statistic from?
You can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, so he's incorrect about his assertion, and that's why it was fact-checked and taken out, him saying, oh, that's true, because it wasn't true. So I don't know what the exact statistic is. It might be high. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 40, maybe it's 50. I don't really know. And the reason we don't know is because there's no actual estimate. There's no actual number that we can be given, right? It's probably disproportionately high in that area specifically. There are a lot of Somali immigrants. We know that when Italians came to America, they engaged in a lot of fraudulent activity too. It's not inherent to any type of person. It's usually something where people will take advantage of different programs. That's the point. I'm not saying that there's no fraud, but he has a statistic that is inaccurate. Just to be clear.
Well,
these are not the same thing.
looks like we've got to redo there.
I'm interested to see what you put in this interview because
It looks like there's a problem with fraud.
So
Yeah, we already know there's a problem with fraud. We've known this since 2014? Yeah, of course. And the biggest problem with the fraud in Minnesota is that they are incredibly they're incredibly overwhelmed when it comes to them, going after the fraud. And most of the fraud is targeting existing fraud cases and not preventing new fraud, which is a problem. How would you remedy that? Probably just send a bunch of ICE people into the street and to murder citizens, maybe. Or maybe the federal government can say, hey, we're going to send you a bunch of auditors because you need to get this under control in the next year. Oh, if Donald Trump tomorrow said, we're sending you, whether you like it or not, I don't know, I don't know what a good number is, but let's say 500 auditors to Minnesota to take care of this issue in a year and to help them implement a better structure to prevent people from engaging in new fraud, I'd be all over that. That's not what we got. That's not what we're getting. That would be the intelligent, proportionate response. But that's not what we're doing, right? All right, yeah. You should have interviewed the local David.
Deep into the fraud, I met back up with the local David, who has been investigating.
I met up with the local David. That's incredible. I usually prefer local telly. It's a good cheese, right? I think it's a cheese. Let's continue.
There you go. That's just 2 examples from the interview with Andrew Callaghan, where he literally went out of his way to try and make me look bad.
So just to be absolutely clear, I want to reiterate the reason why this interview has been edited down so much is because Nick Shirley in his first sentence stuttered so bad they had to reshoot. That's why. Like, Andrew Callaghan tried to make Nick not look dumb. And some of these instances, Nick was incorrect. Both instances that he showed, Nick was incorrect. So they edited to show like, oh, he's incorrect. They fact checked him and he's upset about that.
Which is not cool, and I wouldn't say that's like very benevolent of him.
Oh, I know what's funny is that like he's pretending he couldn't pronounce it, but like he actually could not pronounce the word even in this moment. Let's be real.
To do by any means, but
like think about that. I want you guys to understand something. They're actively trying to cut out this whole like benevolent thing over and over again. How many times do you think that he said benevolent incorrectly? And they're like, okay, we got to leave it in. We got to leave it in. Incredible.
I promise you guys, if I ever do an interview with anyone, you're going to get the full product, because I think that's just like the most benevolent thing to do.
I would love to see you try to do that.
Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys were able to see through what I just showed you. The full interview is up on my second channel.
Yeah, so let me just show you something, because he's trying to say that people are taking him out of context. So here's my favorite deceptive deception here. I want to show you, and I want you to also pay attention to the closed captioning.
Business. Me, I'm scared of you too. How come I explain everything?
You're scared of me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your recording.
Now, she obviously says because of your recording, but he edits it to make it seem like she says because of your color. He says makes it seem like it's because of your color. And then even the YouTube captions pick up the word courage. Now, she's obviously saying recording. She's pointing at the thing that's helping him record, right? But then look at after he says it, there's an instantaneous cut.
Because of my color. You said.
And then he cuts it. Why did he cut it? Oh, because she probably responded by saying no because you're recording, and reiterate that. So that's another one of my favorite out of context unintelligent moments from Nick Shirley.